Hi, everyone. Curtis Edwards here, host of Tea Talk with Curtis, powered by Orion Lending. We have a very special guest today. This individual has been Orion's top producer for pretty much 5 years consistently and consecutively, and is one of the few A's that has funded almost $1 billion in a year, if memory serves. So it's my pleasure to introduce Justin Simpers. Welcome to the show, Justin.
What's going on, Curtis? Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So as part of Tea Talk with Curtis, you received a mug. Do you have that mug?
I do have that mug, but it was currently used this morning for coffee. So
it's for tea only. It's for tea only.
Well, I get that, but I'm not much of a tea guy, and I'm coffee black only now. So
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, I've got a second one here, which is it was iced coffee when we a couple hours ago. Now it's just straight to the vein. But yeah, it's so no sugar, no cream, just straight black coffee.
Black coffee. Yeah, I got uber healthy right at around Thanksgiving. I've dropped almost 30 pounds just from diet alone, So yeah, no coffee, and went from 275 to 245. So I am on the road.
That's pretty good, dude.
Yeah.
You just diet, no working out? Because you box a lot.
Yeah, I always work out, and I never stopped. But, when I got older, I realized it was like 90% what I put in my body, it wasn't dropping weight anymore. I couldn't box and then, eat McDonald's anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah. Ask any personal trainer, anybody in the health food industry. It's mostly diet.
Oh yeah.
So I'll work on that as well. Unlike Lenny, I don't have my summer body yet, but I'm working on it. All right. So Justin, thanks for joining. Tell our community about your role within Orion Lending. What are you doing?
Well, I'm an account executive, for Orion Lending. I guess you could go senior account executive, whatever you want to call yourself.
At your stage of your career, I would say senior is appropriate.
Yeah, that's okay. I got white hair, so I'm good. But yeah, I'm a senior AE at Orion Lending, and my job is to recruit brokers to give us the business so we can fund them quicker, better, faster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What are you doing? What are you doing outside of work? What are you doing on your personal time these days?
Well, we mentioned, boxing. I had shoulder surgery, though, my second rotator, 2.5 months ago. So that's kind of on the shelf for right now. So CrossFit, training. I do RC car racing. I have a gas car, electric cars. I have way too much money in the RC industry. And then I do mountain biking, and so that's kind of like what I do to unwind, I guess, if you will. But yeah, I love all of those things.
So completely off topic, but that's okay. When I was in California a couple weeks ago, I saw a guy riding an RC car on the beach. It was like a skateboard that had RC car. He had a remote control, and he's literally riding it on the sand like an RC car, like driving it. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that version of it, but I've seen the skateboards with the big wheels with the remote control that they're, they have in their hand. Yeah.
It was crazy. I was like, by next year, these things are going to be everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But completely off topic. But yeah, our RC cars are pretty cool. There was a couple of people down there with some pretty crazy ones. Those things fly now. What's the top speed of your RC cars?
It depends. So I have gas cars that are built for like short, course dirt track jumping. And so the acceleration's really fast. Top end's not. It depends on the gearing, but you can make them 60 to 80 miles an hour, There's guys that got cars that go 100, so
Jeez.
Yeah.
Have you got into the airplanes or jets or anything?
I tried, and it did not work out well. I spent probably a month building it, and the first flight, it was ruined. So no, I do have a drone though, and the drones are cool because those are easy to fly.
Those fly themselves these days.
Yeah, they're super easy and cool, and that's how I got backyard ideas, for my house. But
spying on your neighbors?
Yeah,
I wouldn't tell anybody that. Well, you just did. So that's funny.
But yeah, when I have an architecture looking to do designs, fly up my drone, take a picture of my house, here you go. That's what, so it's super cool though. And we take them actually on the mountain bike rides and you can get them to follow you. And so you go to the top of the trail, hit it to follow you, and it'll actually shoot you all the way down the trail,
That's super cool. Dude, I love tech. Love tech.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did you end up in mortgage? I remember, back at when we were working at Clear Vision, you were a processor for one of our brokers, but which kind of led you into wholesale. How'd you get into mortgage in general?
So I, my professional career started out really, I had a Subway franchise, when I was a late teenager and I got into sales then because, people weren't just walking in to buy sandwiches. I had to sell our business, and then that ended up crashing because Burbank decided they were going to build all around my store. So I went into sales, and I started selling timeshare. And so sales was everything that I always did, pretty much, from the get. And so coming into the mortgage industry, I remember I had a buddy that worked at a, bank, and this is 2001, and he said he could get me in, and so I interviewed there and I wanted to be an AE, but I quickly realized that there was way more to selling a mortgage as an AE than just being a salesperson. So they offered me a job as an account manager to learn the business for a few years, and that's what I did. So in 2002, in the beginning, I started at a wholesale mortgage company as an account manager, and I rose to the ranks, became their top AM, and was even the sale or the employee of the quarter, employee of the month. So I was doing pretty well. And finally, I had a pretty good grasp after a couple of years, and I went out into the field as an AE to talk to brokers, and I never looked back, but yeah, that was the start for me, and I started and finished with the same company, because there was the mortgage crisis, the mortgage meltdown of 07, 08, and then my company was subject to what everybody else was. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it started for me.
While many other lenders will only allow for brokers to submit a full broker application in order to get approved, you can get express approved by Orion Lending within hours and no credit pulled. Just imagine, you could be submitting loans with an out-of-this-world lending partner by the end of the day. What are you waiting for? Visit OrionLending.com to hyperspeed your business today.
So you've been with us now going on 5 years this month, I believe.
Almost 6.
Is it 6?
Yeah.
I'll have to check with my fact checkers here. Well, almost 6 years with us. What made you decide to join Orion?
I mean, look, I remember.
If you could remember that far back, that was a long time ago.
Well, I do. So I was the guy on the call with Pacific Union and Clear Vision before the merger, and I knew the merger was going to happen. It was just inevitable. And I was the guy on the call that put, Rick on the spot and said, "Hey, when's the merger going to happen?" And I just sat and waited like it was crickets, and then watching him squirm. And so anyway, look, I felt like the model that Clear Vision had from, your leadership, Jeremy's leadership was way more ideal for me. And, I respected the way that you guys, set up the business, the way that you catered to the AEs and the brokers. And I felt like, that side of that company had an edge. And so, I remember after the merger, we all had met, and I, was thinking of leaving, where I was at before. And I wanted to go, with you guys. But, I think initially it was just a startup, but then, 6-7 months into it, I watched the startup grow, exponentially. I watched you guys. I remember going to your office where all 3 of you were sitting in the same office, and Peter has his part of the office. You had yours, and Jeremy had his, and Dave was somewhere running around. But I watched it grow quickly. And really it boiled down to, knowing your business acumen. And I felt like, I felt like you and Jeremy, see the market a little bit differently and kind of are like water, and you know where to go into the cracks. And a lot of banks and a lot of executives don't know that. And so that's why I feel like, I'm a lifer, A, that, and B, you guys are younger than me, so you're going to be around longer than I am, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, I really felt like aligning myself for, what we're seeing now. It's like the non-QM space coming in. Where are we going? Non-QM too, and so I really wanted to align myself with somebody that could have a vision for the market, and I feel like you see that, Jeremy sees the rate piece, and together you guys are the kind of like the dynamic duo. So, yeah.
For sure. And I remember those calls way back when, the all hands calls. And I remember I would be sitting with Jeremy on a speak conference phone. We're like, who is this guy asking these questions? It was hilarious. Some of them were really, really funny. And you didn't care. You didn't care. You're who you are. And I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy and like about working alongside you is you are what you are. You are who you are. What you see is what you get. And I think, that's what brokers like about you too. You're a very real human being. At the same time, while we say you're kind of a cartoon character of a person as well, because you're very animated. A lot of the stuff you do is hilarious. So keep up that. Yeah, I appreciate all of that. It's Jeremy and I both being from an AE background, I think helps us lead the company maybe in different directions from other companies that maybe aren't so sales focused or sales minded. And so every time we do something, we always think, how's this, not only is it how it's going to impact our operations team, but also how it's going to impact the salespeople. And are we giving them all the tools they need to be successful?
Right.
So that's stuff that's very, 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 very important to us. So as a top producer for Orion, what has made you successful over the years? And second part to that question, how many top producer awards do you actually have now? And do you count them? Do you dust them off every day? Like, what do you got going?
I'll answer the second one first. I don't count them. I actually have a rather large shelf up there that is, I just am lumping them all together.
At this point, you almost have to do it by year.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever, at least 5 times 12, so 60. I mean, I'd probably be more like 70, I think, because I think I lost 2 months, maybe.
You lost 2 months, yeah.
Yeah, and so I would say right around 70. Maybe I'll tile a bathroom in them one day, but that would probably be pretty vain. Maybe my wife let me do that, like in a bathroom in the garage. That's
hilarious. Well, I hope the shelf is reinforced with steel or something, because that thing's got to be getting heavy.
And so
that's awesome.
The first part is the success. I mean, look, I think you mentioned it. I think being real, and knowing who you are as a salesperson is key to accelerating in sales and playing to strengths and, avoiding weaknesses. But I think the relentless marketing is key, and so I'll never forget, like, I wanted to accelerate to a new level. So I tried something different that nobody was doing in our industry as an AE, and that was video and online social media marketing, 3+ years ago. And that, lo and behold, like, that's when, I went from, doing really good numbers to holy cow numbers. And it never looked back. And I think the marketing constantly having a rotation, because I've talked to new AEs and I'm like, don't hold on to that one loan, go get a loan and then go get 5 more, get a broker packages, go get 5 more, never stop the marketing train, because it will take you in this business. If you're starting from zero, it'll take you 6 months, before you start seeing anything coming in. So you have to be looking 6 months to a year down the line with your marketing, and so I think that's key. I think, another, reason why I think I'm successful is I know the business. I'm not, I'd say in certain programs, I would be a guideline expert, can challenge underwriters, but knowing all of what you do and being a real resource is really key. Because if you can be the greatest salesperson in this business, but if you don't, if you don't spit facts, like it quickly goes downhill for you. So, having that and studying that, and knowing that, because, when I came into the industry, I quickly learned, like, not only are guidelines essential and knowing the process essential, but guidelines change almost, every day in certain cases. So, what's good today might not be good tomorrow. So you got to know where to go and to get those resources. But yeah, I mean, I think, I think sales ability in this game is, very much different than, like, let's say timeshare, right? Like, I felt like when I was selling timeshare, I could, based on my ability, would be whether or not they would sign the papers or not. In the mortgage industry, you have to be smart, know the business, and have all of those other things going on. So, yeah.
100%. Some of the, we see some of the reviews from your brokers, random comments from brokers, right? And they kind of echo the same thing. What we see is, I saw an email the other day. I don't even know if you saw it, but a broker is like, look, I'm working with probably the best AE in all of the mortgage industry. He knows everything. And it's that's got to be a nice compliment to you, because you've mastered your craft, and that's what it takes to be a trendsetter, to be someone that's going to put themselves out there, which you do quite often in social, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. But you've done a good job of branding yourself. So let's talk about your support team. So currently you have 3 junior account executives, or account executive assistants, whatever you want to call them, 2 account managers.
Yes.
That support your business. So how has adding the junior A's to your team, how's that help your business?
Well, I mean, I'd say, first of all, it has given me, time. It's balanced. I mean, that's really what it is, because I remember in 2019, I had funded 70 something million on my own, and I was approaching 90, something million. And I quickly realized, like, I can't sustain this business, and we're not a factory that's just pumping out the cleanest A paper borrowers. We do hard to do loans. And when you have that type of volume on hard to do loans, the time that you need to put into it it just becomes, it doesn't equal, the paycheck. And now paycheck obviously has always been great, but when I can't, function on a daily basis, then something's wrong. I got to change something. So that's when that came in. And so, Todd, for example, he's a junior AE. He's more of an assistant that, helps people maneuver through the system. So I don't get bogged down with phone calls on how to upload loans and stuff like that. And I can still handle, the scenarios. The scenarios always come through me. Rushes always through me. When the poop hits the fan, if you will, that's when it comes through me, because that's when I deliver and stand up. But, when it comes to mundane tasks, that's where the juniors come in. And I built a pretty decent, marketing platform for the other 2 juniors that I have, where they just pump out marketing for me consistently. And so that keeps that marketing train going, which enables me to focus, on the stuff that I need to focus on, as an AE.
Well, it's also, it helps you focus on creative selling, right? Doing your videos and doing things that differentiate you from the other A's out there in the market,
right?
Rather than, constantly sending out, Salesforce emails or, something like that, or adding, contacts to the database, right? Highest and best use.
Right.
Brokers, did you know that the Orion lending team is committed to you and your mission for purchases? Orion provides enhanced turn times for FHA, VA, USDA, and Chenoa down payment assistance purchases, all of which are at 24 hours. Orion offers a diverse portfolio of loan programs to meet your business needs. To take a look at their entire product suite, visit www.orionlending.com/products.
So with our 24-hour purchase SLAs, how's this impacted your business?
I mean, I've always been a purchase guy. When I first came into this business, there was a wise wise person that told me, don't build your business on sand that is the refi. Don't build it on that. And so it's always been a focus of mine. So I have always been, around 70 to 80% in that range of purchase business. And I've catered to those, those folks. And I'll never forget. I remember, look, every lender when COVID hit was bombarded with refis going from rates in the 4s to the 2s. And it was industry wide. And I'll never forget when we were like, yeah, our SLAs are at, almost 4 weeks on a refi, but purchases, we're going to cut it down to a week. And I was like, this is amazing, because you guys see that vision. But, building your business on purchase is the rock. In fact, I talked to the largest broker in the United States, and we talked about how to get purchase business and why, and so the SLAs of a day are amazing, and are to be determined. Underwrites for borrowers that are shopping that might be a little marginal on a deal is extra amazing. And so the combination of those two really, I feel like, give us all of the tools needed in my belt to sell why purchase business needs to go to Orion.
Yeah, I think we really capitalized on that purchase special, or the purchase SLA rather, in 2020, as you mentioned, when we kept our turn times at roughly a week on purchases, which today seems like a lifetime. But we got, there was some unsatisfied customers as a result of that, because they were focused on refis. But we stayed true to who we are, and we said, look, that's, I understand that you might take your borrower to another lender that's turned those refis a little faster, but we're going to continue to focus on purchases. And through 2020, we remained greater than 50% purchase when refis were literally falling from the sky. I mean, it was a crazy time. And then everything else that we went through that year too, of working remotely and trying to recruit folks and build the business to accommodate. We make it more scalable, which we've done some really cool stuff with tech to help out with that. In the future as it may be.
Right.
Let's talk about some of the products that piqued your broker's interest. Specifically, what are some of the big products that your brokers really come to Orion for? For you, it may be just about everything, but what are some of those special products?
Yeah, I mean, for me, look, I was an Army brat. I love VA loans, and so my knowledge of the VA guidelines and what you can and can't do have afforded me the ability to do more VA than probably most AEs in the country. And so that's primarily always been a focus for me. But as of, late, especially now, Orion's been doing DPAs for years. DPA is always, down payment assistance is always the biggest door opener. It just is, because, there's a lot of people that offer it, but who can do it quick and fast? And that's what we do, and so that has always been, a go-to for me, and it's more prevalent lately. Real estate agents love that topic, even though loan officers don't. So it's my job to make the loan officer very comfortable at taking the application on a DPA, and I'm like, look, you could spend 2 minutes on the phone with me. You give me the credit score, the county, and the income, and I'm going to tell you where to go with the file. And so, that's big. The biggest thing lately is the DSCR. I think the DSCR is, gonna make a significant piece of the pie in 2022 and moving forward, for the unforeseeable future, because I don't see the market, going anywhere but up for a while. And so, the DSCR and the ability, to be liberal with the guidelines like we have and the investors that we have, and it's very strong. And rate wise, we're there. But I will tell you, I think the silent killer that we have that isn't that isn't sold enough, and is probably the one program that makes us stand out, I think, more than anything, is the Titan AUS.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like the interest only side of the Titan AUS, when you're talking about a full doc borrower, like you can't compete with what we got. You just can't. So the Titan AUS interest only 4-unit cash out non-owner OC is going to smoke the competition by miles. And so especially being able to do jumbo side of that and being able to do loan amounts down to 50,000. And when you're talking about the LLPAs, the loan level price adjustments for conventional loans compared to that side of the program, it's there's nothing to compare. And so, those three things are kind of the door opener for me. In fact, I'm actually doing a big presentation at the number 3 broker in the United States on the Titan AUS program.
Nice. Yeah, it's interesting you bring up that. I've heard that before from the Titan AUS, but it's good, and it's good that you really dig into the products and you find the niche, if you will, in each product, and that's what you sell. And I think that that's an important piece of being a salesperson, as we've talked about earlier, is knowing your product and knowing it inside and out, and that's a very special and important piece.
Oh yeah. It's imperative. It's my fiduciary responsibility.
100%. So tell us about the Orion tech. What are your brokers? How are your brokers feeling about the tech that we put forward in the Star Portal?
It's not just brokers, but it's also people that are entertaining coming aboard. This is what I say and I love. I mean, I love the ability with Orion to make changes to tech and they actually happen. I mean, we're not dealing with, a company that's got, 50,000 layers of senior management and has to have board approval with all of this and that to get it done. It's like, hey, here's an idea. Let's implement it. How long is it going to take? It rolls out. It's super cool. But I'll tell you this, I feel like, and this is me being just real. It's not just, that I am at Orion, but I was on the processing side of things. I have seen a lot of the tech from a lot of lenders. Most of that tech has not changed at all. I will tell you that I feel like our tech is Orion and everybody else. I mean, when you're talking about, I've had brokers ask, they're like, I got an approval. I'm like, hey, you need to go into the system and here's how you do it and click your loan approval because that's live, and everything is there. Where's it's on your income calculation worksheet.
Everything.
On the loan approval. I need my full file after the loan funded. Oh, that's available in your pipeline too. Everything is there, and so the ability to run the dual AUS. I tell my brokers on a conventional loan, you just run it up front, and so if we need to switch or do a change of circumstance from Fannie to LP or whatever, you can do it quickly. And I just had it happen this morning, and it's funny because I've had brokers that, there's all types of different, brokers out there. I mean, some people are tech savvy, some aren't, and I've had people like, hey, I think it takes me a long time to submit a loan. And I've actually even screen shared this. And I was like, look, here is a broker, and I'm showing real time. I'm like, here's a broker that I know, he barely speaks English, and his daughter taught him how to use a computer, which is a fact. He loads a loan at 5:51 p.m. That's when the file just gets imported, and it's submitted to Orion at 5:54, 3 minutes later. So to go from start to finish when you know what buttons to press and what to do in 3 minutes is fast. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we own the tech. We're not using an out-of-box solution. We've written the code, and to think back, almost 8 years ago when we started building the Star Portal, it started as simply a vehicle to lock the loan. It was put in the loan number, the last 4 of the borrower's social security number, and it popped up a pricing engine. That was it. Yeah. That was it. Everything else, prior to that, it was Excel lock request forms that were emailed in or faxed in or whatever. So it's crazy to see the evolution. But where I'm going, when we started building the portal at its most simplest phase, I had no idea that it was going to be where it is today. And I almost said end up where it is today, but that would be a misstep because we're not done. It's like it's something that we're constantly evolving. We've got that. We've got a really cool feature coming in the next couple of weeks where you can lock from the quick pricer with very little information from the borrower, which is going to be huge, especially in markets like we saw yesterday and today. I mean, we saw 70 bips in market price gain yesterday, and we've already lost it today.
Yeah.
So the market it's so volatile right now that this is a tool that we feel the brokers will really take advantage of and will help them lock those deals in quickly, so that they don't potentially lose that borrower, in the amount of time it takes to put together a 3.4 file.
Right.
So one of the things that with the pandemic and you're one of those people that likes to go out and visit brokers. You probably still do, but are you seeing that not as many brokers are in offices these days? Or are you still having some pretty good success with that?
I mean, it definitely changed the way that I do business. And I am a big proponent of, online meetings and being in person. And so now, because, I'm not subject to at Orion having a specific territory and I can market wherever, I can be on a Zoom meeting looking at my brokers in Georgia or, Arkansas. So it doesn't matter. And that's how I get in front of people. Now, when I set up lunches, which is when I typically go out, I like to spend some time. I don't like to go from office to office to office because it's not the same as what it used to be before, because they may not be in, they may be in. So I usually schedule a lunch in advance. And tomorrow I have a lunch, with a broker that I haven't seen in years, but we do business. So, Zoom, webinars, whatever, that is the new outside AE platform. And so, when I sign up a new broker, it's all about setting up a Zoom meeting so I can see you face to face. They can feel and see who it is they're working with. And it's a lot, more personable than it is on the phone, and so I did phone sales for a long time early in my sales career too, but, it's way better for me when I can, put my face out there. Not that this face is attractive by any means, but my personality comes through a little bit easier on that. So,
sure.
Yeah,
sure. That's a big part of the sales cycle, right? Brokers want to work with people they like, people that are experts of their craft, which you've obviously checked that box, and generally everyone likes you too. You're a funny guy, so you do some crazy things as we've talked about. So. What's your ultimate goal with your personal brand? And we've got the personalized websites that you've taken advantage of as well that you use extensively. But where are you planning on going with your personal brand? What's in store for us?
I feel that I've been called to help people in the sales industry and in the life industry, and so I'm retooling it right now. I made a run for a couple years, and I'm retooling it a little bit, doing more soul searching. But ultimately, it's helping others. And that's it. So I've had people approach me like, you should charge a fee, yada yada, for videos, and I'm not gonna do that right now. I just am not. So
Asterisk right now.
Yeah, I mean. It's just one of those things. I mean, I'm just giving back, and sure. I'm giving back to an industry that's helped me. I mean, I feel like, the sales industry is like the last great frontier, and so either, you want to be successful and make a lot of money, you can go to college and all that stuff, but you're still capped. Like, either you're a business owner like yourself or you're in sales, and those are the two areas. And so, I'll share this story. So after the crash, I went to, a place that is auto and then maybe a trader after that. So .com. And so I was their top salesperson, in the country. And I had a very low income cap. And I quit that job, at the top of my game to go make peanuts in the mortgage industry, because I wanted to be standing there waiting when the market would come back, and I would be in a position that I'm in right now, and so I felt like that ability to, I'm a full commission salesperson. I don't eat what I don't sell. And I wanted to have the ability to do that. So I feel like sales in general, in most cases, you can write your own future. And so, I've throughout my years have been approached many times to go run a company, own a company. I love what you do. I don't want to do that. I just want to sell, and so helping people get there to do that and take the leap of faith and string them along, in the right direction is has always been, something that is motivated me.
Absolutely. And that's basically a summary of why you're so successful. You care, and you want to take care of the broker. You want to take care of their clients. The brokers realize that. And they realize that you're an advocate for them just as much as you're an advocate and a team member of Orion.
Right.
Your job is to help their borrowers get in their homes. And I know that you're very passionate about the VA loans, which is I think very important. It's our duty, right? We have an opportunity to help people get in homes right now, and do responsible lending, and that's exactly what we're doing. And we both made a good career out of it. And we're fortunate. We're very fortunate to have this opportunity. And I'd like to, Jeremy and I are fortunate enough to have spent the last several years with you and to know you and all the good things that you've done and good people you've helped introduce us to and everything. So I really appreciate you, dude. You're a really great person, great salesperson, and glad to have you on the team. Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks. No, this is one of those tea talks that I've been looking forward to because, anytime we get together, we just chat, it's like just, about whatever. And
right.
We've always had, a great relationship. So I appreciate you being an amazing team member for Orion, being a great person. And thanks for your participation today on Tea Talk.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Let's go fund some loans, dude.
Let's do it. More loans.
All right. I'll see you later, brother.
All right. Thank you.